at peace, stress free, let it be.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name's Ashley and today we have a hopefully very exciting sewing video for you all. I say hopefully because this is gonna be my first time trying to make this or anything like similar to this, so we'll see how it goes. Also, if you're looking for a pattern, I don't think I'm going to be using a pattern. I might end up using a pattern, but I'm pretty much just going to be referencing pictures, and if you're not really into that, I don't know, maybe this is not the video for you. Not a big fan of patterns, so I know they would make my life easier, but like, I just like making mistakes, I guess. Also, sorry I look kind of a mess. I thought that I was just like tired from our trip. We did a lot of stuff, woke up really early, all of that kind of stuff. If you didn't see the video of the little road trip that I went on, it'll be linked right here and also at the end of this video. Make sure you go check that out. But yeah, so I thought I was tired from that, but now I'm thinking it's more the weather. So if you don't know, I live in Los Angeles. I live in downtown, so I'm not close to the fires, but the smoke from the fires is like completely blocking the sun, and it is so like gloomy and depressing outside. It smells like a bonfire, which is kind of nice. Not nice because things are burning, but you know what I mean, like the smell of a bonfire smells good. But yeah, the sun being blocked and all of that is not the vibe for me. I'm not loving it, and it's just making me extremely tired. Yeah, I've been wearing this sweatshirt for 3 days, so that's how my life is going right now. Anyway, let's get into the video. So I bought these two fabrics from a shop on Etsy. I'll have it linked down below. They have some pretty cool fabric. But I really loved both of these, and then I bought them and I had no idea what I was gonna do with them. And just today, this morning, like the day before I'm uploading this video, I had the idea to turn them into Omighty shirts. If you don't know what Omighty is, it's like an online store. They have some pretty cute stuff. It's a little bit expensive for what it is. Well, that's fine, you know, that's what they want to charge. That's what they think it's worth. And they have these shirts. I'll insert some pictures right here, that are pretty like iconic to their brand, I guess. Motel Rocks also has some pretty similar shirts and dresses like that. I got these lace, I got some lace. Also from a shop on Etsy, which I will also have linked down below. And I'm going to try to make the Omighty shirt. I think I might try to make a dress with one of the colors and a tank top and skirt set with the other one. I'm not entirely sure yet. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, so let me get everything set up. I just wanted to start the video off real quick, and I'll see you once we get started. Also, you won't have to be looking at me the whole video. I know, it's terrible. I think I'm gonna try to make a pattern for this top just so I really don't like mess it up. Mainly because it's the day before I'm gonna be uploading this video, and yeah, I don't really have time to mess it up. Shout out to procrastination. So to start out, I wanted to measure my boob for the pattern, so I measured across and up it. But because I don't make patterns that often, this didn't actually work out. It just seemed too big, and yeah, I didn't know how to do it, so that's me trying to figure it out. I went and got a bikini and just ended up tracing it because that's just how I work best, is by tracing. So I just traced all the way around it, and then I went around and left about 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around, and then I darkened that, but I ended up having to retrace it after I cut it out because I had this little tail on the end and I wanted it to be thicker than it was. So here I'm cutting out the other piece on this recycled newspaper that I have. So now I'm just laying out the fabric, pinning the little pattern I made to it and cutting around it, and I'm doing that twice. The fabric is folded, so it's going to have 2 sides. And then I'm also taking a tank top that fits me really well, folding that in half and putting it right on the crease of the folded fabric. Now I'm cutting around it. I tucked the sides down, and if you can see, I'm making this little like lump in the middle, and that's gonna go right in between my boobs when it's unfolded. If that makes sense, that's what it's gonna look like. And then I'm just cutting out the back piece as well. So now I'm pinning the 2 sides of the breast pieces together, right sides together, because that is how I'm going to sew it. So then once I have that pinned, I'm going to put it over my boob just to kind of see where it lies. And then I'm going to measure where the strap is going to begin and measure that all the way to where I want it to end on my back. For me, it was about 18 inches. I ended up making it a little bit longer, I think about like 22 inches, just because I'd rather have extra than less. So I took my rotary cutter and cut the straps about 1 inch. Now I'm pinning them in half right sides together. And then I'm going to sew those right sides together to make like a tube. And I'm just cutting off the excess fabric so it's not all bulky. And then I took a safety pin, pinned it to one side of the straps, and I just fed the safety pin through to turn the straps right side out. So then I'm taking the straps and I'm putting it in between the two layers of the boob pieces. I'm not sure how to explain this. And so I just left a little tail at the top, and then I left it going all the way through so that I can sew around the edges like so. I'm sewing around all of the edges. I'm leaving one little gap though at the end so that I can turn these right side out, and I do turn them right side out. The strap will be properly placed on the outside. I'm cutting here the excess fabric so that it's not all bulky, but the most important part is that you tuck the strap in and kind of make the boob pieces like a little pocket for the strap, because you don't want to get it stuck while you're sewing all around it. So here I'm turning it right side out, which was definitely a process, but I got it, and as you can see, everything is where it's supposed to be. I decided I wanted the front piece to be 2 layers like the boob pieces, so here I'm just cutting out another layer. And then this part is going to be a little bit difficult to explain, so sorry if I don't do a great job, but I'm taking one of the front pieces, laying it right side facing me, laying it out nice and flat, and then I'm taking the back piece and laying that out with the wrong side facing the fabric and the right side facing me, and I'm lining that up with the bottom part of the front piece of fabric, and then I'm taking the other front piece of fabric and I'm putting that on top, lining it up, the wrong side facing me and the right side facing the other 2 fabrics to kind of sandwich in that back piece, and making sure that the back piece is lined up only at the bottom and not at the top, and also on the sides. You want it to be lined up on the sides. So here I'm just putting the lace on the 2 boob pieces really quickly, just on like the inside V part of them. And now I'm just sewing the sides of the sandwiched fabrics. I'm using a zigzag stitch for this so that it can have a little bit of stretch. And now I'm placing the boob pieces, which I think was honestly the hardest part. I had to figure out how it was gonna look when the whole shirt was turned right side out, to make sure that the boobs were gonna be placed properly. I highly recommend marking where you want the boob pieces to start on the lump in the middle. That would be extremely helpful. I found that out after I made the mistake like twice. But yeah, definitely mark where you're going to want it to start in the middle so that they're equal distance apart from each other. But basically we're doing the same thing as the strap. We're putting the whole thing inside of the shirt, and we're just sandwiching them there at the top. And we're pinning it down so that it'll hold along that curve of the boob pieces. And I'm sewing that together also with a zigzag stitch so that I can have some stretch, and I'm being very careful going through to make sure that I get all of the layers in there, because it's very difficult. There's a lot of layers going on. And here I'm just sewing down the lace with a zigzag stitch. And I'm also sewing the straps on the back. I actually tried the shirt on and placed the straps in the back where I wanted them and pinned it. But then for some reason when I pulled the strap, the lace folded like inward. So I just did a straight stitch down that inside part against the fabric. And then I also did a straight stitch along the bottom. I folded the bottom like seam hem thing up twice. I rolled it, I guess. And then I did a straight stitch along the bottom very carefully so that it was really nice, because people are going to see that obviously, so you want it to be like a very clean straight stitch. And that's it. So this is the final product. It did not come out perfectly. Obviously it was my first time doing it, so that's to be expected. There are some parts that are pretty messed up, but if you don't look too close, you really can't see it. The pattern of the shirt and like the lace and everything, it's all pretty like distracting from the mistakes, which is Good, that's what we want. Also, for some reason, this like comes out. This actually happens with a lot of shirts, but it looks a lot better if I like tuck the side in. I think in the future I would just do the triangle part of the boob and not like the little tail part of it, you know. I think that was a mistake, but it can be easily fixed, obviously, and now I know for next time. I also only ended up making the top. I was gonna make the skirt, but then I figured I wasn't really gonna wear the skirt that much, so it didn't seem worth it to make it. As cute as like skirt sets are, they're not my thing. I don't really wear them that much. So it just kind of seemed like a waste of time and materials to try to make the skirt. Also, the shirt took me a very long time. Because the shirt took me a long time, I also didn't get to making the dress. So maybe we'll save that for another video. Now that I know what mistakes I've made, maybe the process of making that dress will be a little bit easier. I've also never sewed a dress before, so make sure you subscribe to see me try to sew my first dress. Alright, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you all enjoyed this tutorial. Sorry, some of the parts were a little bit difficult for me to explain, but I tried the best that I could. If you want anything else explained in more detail, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will answer as best as I can. I don't think I made this disclaimer, but if you couldn't tell, I'm not a professional seamstress, like, at all. I barely taught myself how to sew, and I don't sew often enough to like consider myself like teaching myself, but I'm trying. And I mean, it's a shirt. It holds together, it does what it's supposed to do, and it looks really cute as long as you don't look too close. Even if you look close, it still looks really cute. And it looks exactly like the pictures for the most part. So I think I did a pretty good job for not really knowing what I'm doing. But thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you follow me on Instagram to see some cute pictures that I'm going to post in the shirt eventually once I get to taking them and it's not extremely like gloomy and smoky outside. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye.